building here over the course of these last couple?
It's a great vibe in here, We've had some exciting hockey, probably a little lower scoring than it felt. There were chances, but it's a good building and lots of energy, so it's a good place. You can feel it. The guys are excited to play here.
Tomorrow, the Islanders on the schedule already the second time. Seeing them, anything you can take from that first matchup in the season opener?
Well, it was a hard game, and the grind that we're trying to get real good at, being able to play in those almost low event kind of games, but every puck is contested. It would be the similarities between, and the style is completely different, but you're talking about Tampa and these teams, two of the older teams in the league, right? So they are hard on details. They've got a lot of veteran players, which means there's shot blocking, there's competition on every puck. They run their routes right. They don't make casual mistakes. So you'll be mentally prepared to play in a game where you have to grind for the full 60.
Just a maintenance day for Forsling?
Yes, sir.
And with him, obviously, has his minutes counts jumping up from what
Right.
he used to as number one. Just the balance between what he's doing on the ice and then what you guys are doing with him off the ice to make sure he stays fresh and is able to do what he needs to on the ice.
Yeah, that's what it all is for them. And then we rely in some ways on their veteran proneness about what they need. So he doesn't need a morning skate even if he hasn't skated the day in between games. His prep going into the games is very strong. So we're running all of those veteran guys bigger minutes, probably than we'd like to, but certainly they don't mind it. You get into a rhythm and they can handle it. What helps with Gustav, he's such a fit man, and in order to get as fit as he is, you have to be really dialed into your body and you're really dialed into your prep. So he can take the time off in between games, and his legs have been good, and he's feeling stronger each game. So he's a good one to kind of be able to rest a bit.
And what have you liked about his play overall? I know it's only
I like everything about this guy's game. I mean, for what we are trying to implement in a hard gap game and taking ice away from teams being strong at the blue line, he's just built to do it. His skating is just world class. Real good, reliable pro.
What's your confidence level that the power play is going to get going here?
Complete. Yeah. So I don't. The last game it wasn't exciting, but prior to that, from an analytics point of view, it was world class. Other than the pucks going in the net, so that's you build a foundation on a power play that's run with a certain mindset, and that's attack plays. So you're not waiting around the outside and looking for the perfect kill play. You can bring that kind of power play into the playoffs, and it'll generate goals for you. The grinding kind of hard goals. The outside plays rarely are there. So we've liked it. I mean, our attack rate's been right. Our cadence has been good the last game. And now in a 5-game sample, we've run 2.5 games with our power play in it. Right, with what we would have if everybody was healthy, and that happens to teams, but it's really early. We've had a lot of changeover because of personnel, and then with Ekblad being out, I'm fine with it where it's at.
And you think now that you've got Bennett and
Yeah,
different looks now.
Different looks, but mostly that's just a shift of size. With Montour being a right-hand shot, we can get back to a side that we really liked. We think that Chuck is a lead on the goal line. We needed him on the half wall, but he's a lead on the goalie. We need a right-hand shot in the slot for that. That's Reinhardt's best spot. So it puts people in a stronger position.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
A guy like Kachuk, a guy like Barkov, obviously they're going to get a lot of attention to start a season, but from your perspective, who's maybe more an under-the-radar player on your team that you think has had a good start to the year?
Radko Gudas has been really strong. So they're all part of that as learning players. And when you spend whatever the last 9 years in the Western Conference, you don't see these players on a nightly basis. So when I would see Radko, it'd be on a highlight film. He'd be blowing somebody up, and I didn't appreciate his hockey IQ, the systematic part of his game, the consistency to his game. He would be the guy that and he's breaking in. He's been the guy who's had to break in a young player each time. That young player has got to -5 or +5 going into the last game. That's great coverage. So he's been a guy we've been really pleased with.
I mean, on one of your first days of camp, you used Forsling as your first example as an elite guy, like an elite guy like Forsling. I mean, what did you see from him when you were watching the team before you took the job? And, I mean, how did he exceed those expectations you had?
I don't think he's exceeded them. I think, in fact, we would look at the style of game that we were trying to implement here from a defensive point of view, and when you watch him play, you could say that guy will be fantastic at it, and the other guy will be Ekblad. The guys that can move and that can gap, that skate as well as those two men skate, should flourish in it, and he has.
You have Mahura on the second power play unit today in practice. What have you liked about him, through the first 5 games of the season, just his offensive ability?
Well, he gets across the line very well. Power plays was his calling card coming into the league through junior and through the American League. Now, we do have Forsling in that unit. He didn't practice today, but we want some coverage there. We've got lots of confidence that he can get the puck across the line, get it to the net.
And that second line you put together, we're just talking to Rudy. I mean, he's grinning from ear to ear.
Why would he be?
With those guys, eh?
Right. So you want an opportunity. These guys, a lot of the skilled guys that maybe when they were young didn't get a chance to play with the best players, they will value it. They understand, right? They get out there, this is a great opportunity. You know what, he's earned it. So the pucks go in the net a couple times for him, but it's the other pieces of his game that have allowed that to happen. So he's on the forecheck, he's on the puck. He's been responsible defensively for us. So then you can put him with great players, and then he's going to get a chance to get some pucks to the net. There's a great set of hands on his first goal, but going to the net the hard way on the second goal, he's going to get those opportunities.
And even when he wasn't scoring, though, you were noticing.
Yeah, I was right through camp. So you know that the first 5 days of camp, I got a bunch of guys on the board that I don't expect to look good because it's not that kind of game, right? It was just a grind, a beat down, and he survived it. And then he just, each day, we came off them a little bit. He got a little faster. And then he gets into the start of the season, and we're not looking for magic. In some ways, you're looking for the younger players to hold water. Can we generate here, even if it's not off your stick? Can we play you against the other team's best? And he's answered that question for us.
Thank you.